Okay, as September is winding down, it's time again for my yearly ritual, my yearly tradition of the third annual Halloween Horror Movie Marathon. Now, if you followed me over on Team Cerberus, you'll see that I've done this last 2 years. Kind of made a big thing out of it. And I think I'm going to cross-post this over on Outside the Box Reviews as an introduction to this whole thing and just kind of share between it. But any other videos I do relating to this are going to be over on the Team Cerberus page as normal. Just got to cross-pollinate my channels a little bit just for my own personal entertainment. Last couple years, I've gone and had this big, long marathon in the month of October, trying to watch a horror movie a day. I have the full lists of the movies I tried to watch elsewhere on my Team Cerberus channel. The first year, I actually didn't get to watch everything I wanted, and I think the second year I did watch everything. So it was more successful last year than the first by far. But I got a brand new list of movies for 2012, and this time we have a total of 30 movies, only skipping one day, which I will get into. So let's go through them. So last year I tried to do themed days, and they were kind of interesting. I kind of like the idea of doing themed days, but it got a little annoying at times when I picked very specific themes that kind of got old after a while. So this year I'm modifying it up. I'm going to have Monster Mondays, Supernatural Tuesdays, Universal Wednesdays, Of the Dead Thursdays, Serial Killer Fridays, and the weekends are just left open for whatever. I feel like these categories are vague enough that it should be simple enough to fit movies in there that aren't going to start feeling stagnant after a while. Last year I did Silent Tuesdays, and that got really old after a while. It became my least favorite day of the week, just because I wasn't enjoying the silent films as much as I was a lot of the other stuff. So to start off the marathon, we have the first Monster Monday, and we're opening up with Pet Sematary. Now, honestly, this could probably fit better under the supernatural category, but there are some kind of gross monsters, and I mean, there's the cat, and there's the kid, and there's the sister, and all that stuff. So I'm going to call this one a monster movie for that day. Maybe it's not the best choice in that category, but that's where we're starting off with. So, Pet Sematary. By the way, one of my favorite horror films I've been introduced to within like the last 5 years. Is one of those things I wish I'd known about sooner just so I could have watched it more times in my life. Supernatural Tuesday, opening up with The Orphanage. It's a Spanish film. It's produced by Guillermo del Toro, and it's one of my favorite supernatural horror movies I've seen in a long time. It's Spanish subtitled, but subtitles never really bother me. I think I got a few subtitled movies on this list this year, and I'm excited to revisit it. I haven't seen it in a while now. For the first Universal Wednesday, we are starting off with Boris Karloff in The Mummy. This is probably one of the Universal monster movies I've seen the least. It actually just popped up in Netflix Instant, and I'm really excited to revisit it. I wanted to get Whitney, my girlfriend, in on watching it because she's never seen it, and it's been one I've talked about. But I don't think she's ever seen it, and it's been too long since I've seen it. So, excited to revisit this one. Our first Of the Dead Thursday, we're kicking off with Diary of the Dead. Now, you may ask, why the heck did I pick Diary of the Dead? Not exactly a popular Romero zombie film. Well, the explanation is, I've been working with a podcast recently, and I've actually been listening to them for years. It's Now Playing Podcast. You can find them at nowplayingpodcast.com. Yes, throwing them a plug in there. But they do movie review retrospective podcasts, normally taking a series, normally one that's having a remake coming out, but not always. And they'll go and review all the movies in the series, finalizing in the big end movie that's come out theatrically. They've done it for Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, other non-horror things they've done it for. Did it for Avengers. They're doing it right now. They have a James Bond retrospective series going on, which is massively long. But twice a year, they hold a donation drive where basically you donate to help support the podcast because it is normally a free podcast. And as a gift, you basically get the bonus podcast episodes that they record that are only available to donors. And this fall, they are covering the Romero Dead movies. They're baseline donation, which is $10 minimum, $15 suggested, will get you all of the original Romero of the Dead films, so Night, Dawn, Day, Land, Diary, and Survival, and then an extra donation of $25 or more will actually get you the official remakes, the Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead, the awesome Dawn of the Dead remake, and the Day of the Dead remake, which I've yet to see. But the podcasts for these come out on Fridays, and to follow along every Thursday, I'm going to be watching the movie that corresponds. And they've already started putting these out. They've already released Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, all going through September in chronological order. So by the time October starts, they'll already be at Diary. So that's where I'm starting off with this. And I know that was a very long explanation for one movie. For the first Serial Killer Friday, I'm going to be watching American Psycho. This is a movie that I've seen clips from that I've kind of always wanted to check out, but I'm probably going to get some serious hate for this. I do not like Christian Bale. I hate the man. I think he can't act. He bores the hell out of me. I'm okay with his Batman. I've come to terms with his Batman, but dear God, I want to shoot the guy in the face for playing John Connor. That was awful. But I'm going to give the dude another chance. I've heard this is a great role. I mean, it's such an older role of his, so maybe it's before some of this tropes that have become his, his iconography, I guess, basically, have seeped in. So I'm going to give this one a shot and see what I think about it. Saturday, so we got a free day here, so I'm going to be checking out VHS. I really don't know a whole lot about this, but somebody told me I should watch it, so I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? For Sunday, we have Don't Look Now, another movie I've never seen, another movie I've heard some interesting things about. It's from the 70s. It looks like it's kind of weird and atmospheric and stuff, so I definitely want to check it out. It's been on my list for years now of a movie to check out, so finally getting around to it. It's on Netflix Instant Streaming. Back with another Monster Monday, going to an old favorite again. We have John Carpenter's The Thing, my favorite remake of all time, and still an amazing movie. Love the effects, love the character, love the stupid quotes in it and everything. Just a great movie overall. Supernatural Tuesday, yet another cool oldie but goodie. Poltergeist, why not? Awesome to have on the list again. Next, Universal Wednesday, checking out Revenge of the Creature. Now, Revenge of the Creature is a very specific choice because I'm working on a project to try to find the shooting locations from this movie. It was filmed in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live, or at least most of it was filmed in Jacksonville. There are some parts around different places. But I've managed to track down several of the shooting locations through a little bit of research. I'm still looking for more of them. But I want to go and actually visit them and kind of do a little, try to match up some of the locations and stuff. Like you see on James Rolfe's Cinemassacre.com. He's done a couple with the Night of the Living Dead locations and all that stuff. So I want to try my hand at it. And I'm going to be watching this. Probably going to have my friend over who's going to help me with this little mini documentary here. And hopefully sometime in October we're going to go and cover some of the Jacksonville shooting locations. And I'll probably have some video up of that. Next up, we have another Of the Dead Thursday. So as the progression goes, here's Survival of the Dead, movie I did not care for the first time I watched it, but hey, I'm willing to give it another shot. Now I know what it's about, I can at least maybe adjust my expectations going in. Well, at this point, we're at Friday the 14th. So for Serial Killer Friday, why not Friday the 13th? And because I just won the Part 6 Jason mask, why not Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives? My favorite of the series anyway. Saturday here, checking out Alfred Hitchcock The Birds, another classic I've never gotten around to. Kind of embarrassed about that, but excited to finally be checking it out. Sunday, I'm going to be checking out House, the second subtitled movie on my list so far. This is a Japanese movie. It just looks like a acid trip from the clips I've seen. So really interested in checking it out. I was actually debating to do this House or the other House, which I guess is a zombie movie, but I figured I got enough zombies in the list. Why not check out this crazy Japanese movie? Next Monster Monday, we have Them. Another movie I've never seen, but been very interested in seeing. Killer ants, craziness. Good 50s atomic giant monster movie is always worth a shot every so often. So I've seen enough Godzilla movies, Gamera, Gorgo, all that stuff. How about we try something a little more homegrown here with Them? Supernatural Tuesday. I don't even know if this movie's really supernatural, but I wanted to check it out. Evil Ed. I guess it's a Swedish film. I heard about it from, once again, Cinemassacre's Monster Madness. It looks pretty ridiculous. It looks crazy and all the good stuff. So, gonna give this one a shot and see how it is. Universal Wednesday again, back with probably one of my favorite of the Universal classic monsters and movies, Bela Lugosi in Dracula. Just an amazing movie to me, one of my all-time favorites, and to me, one of the best horror movies ever made. So here with the Dead series, as I said, we're finished up with the official Romero movies and now on to the official remakes. So we have Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. I've only checked this one out once before, but I did enjoy it when I saw it, so interested to check it out again, for sure. Serial Killer Friday, I'm going to check out Night of the Hunter, going from one night to another, I guess. Another movie never seen, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's kind of a early slashery, maybe not slashery, but it's kind of a prototypical film of a lot of modern horror movies or something to that effect. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I've always been interested to check it out, so I'm going to throw it on the list. And here's the first day I'm not going to be watching a movie. Probably that Friday night, I'm going to be driving down to Orlando. And then Saturday, we are going to be heading off to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. Now, if you've seen my past two yearly videos, you know that we went to Spooky Empire's Ultimate Horror Weekend Horror Convention last 2 years in a row. And this year, the guests just didn't do it for me. There were two guests I really wanted to meet, which was Ken Foree, who to me is iconic, not just in horror movies like Dawn of the Dead and Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3, and Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I could just go on and on with the cool credits he's been in horror movies, but also something I didn't put together until much later. He's the dad from Kenan and Kel. That's just awesome. And if I was going to the convention, I sure as heck would bring a bottle of orange soda and take a picture with him holding it. But enough on that tangent. There was also R.L. Stine going. But those are the only two people I really wanted to meet. And it just wasn't justifiable to pay to get into the convention and to pay for the autographs and to do the extra legwork. So Whitney and I decided we are going to go back to Halloween Horror Nights. And that one has me much more excited. There's a Alice Cooper haunted house. There's a Penn and Teller radiated Las Vegas haunted house. There's a Walking Dead house. There's a Silent Hill house. And there's one that says it's something about classic Universal monsters, which you know always kind of gets me in my soft spot there. So pretty excited about doing this. Really, really excited to check out Halloween Horror Nights yet again. It'll be my third time. So that Sunday night, we get the next subtitled movie. I believe it's a subtitled movie on my list, which is Troll Hunter. I've heard some good things about this one as well, and it seems pretty unique, so why not check it out? It could be kind of fun. For Monster Monday, I'm going to rewatch a movie that I just recently picked up really cheap on DVD. Actually, I think my friend actually bought it for me as payback for driving him out to the video store that we went to. But it's Dog Soldiers, which I saw once and I really liked it, so excited to check it out again. Supernatural Tuesday, maybe checking out the original Omen. Sadly enough, I've never seen this movie. I've seen the remake. Whitney actually owns the remake, and I've never seen the original, so kind of excited to check out the source of the whole thing. And here for Universal Wednesday is the thing that made me put Universal Wednesdays on this list. I probably still would have done some Universal movies, but on October 24th, theater local here, and I think chains across the country, are showing a double feature of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. I said Dracula is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Frankenstein and Bride are even higher on my list, even more loved to me. The original Frankenstein was great. There's such great themes in it and such great imagery. And then Bride just blows even that out of the water as an incredible horror movie. If you've never gone back, if you're strictly a modern horror fan and you've never gone back and checked out these movies, I highly recommend doing so. It's well worth your time. And if maybe you want a cooler experience, check out if this is playing somewhere near you. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm really excited to catch this on the big screen. Back to our Of the Dead Thursday, we have the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which is one I am quite excited about. Serial Killer Friday. I don't even know if this is really a serial killer movie, but I've also wanted to check out The Black Cat, mostly just because it's Karloff and Lugosi together in a movie, and it looks kind of interesting. It looks really dark and messed up, so I want to check it out. That Saturday, I'm going to be watching Twilight Zone, the movie, another film I haven't seen yet. And the more I look into it, the more I read about it, the more I'm intrigued. And we got Steven Spielberg, John Landis, Joe Dante. And that's enough to make me want to check this thing out. Definitely need to get around to watching this. I love Twilight Zone as a series. I've just never checked out the movie. And yeah, does it seem a little early to be putting another Dead movie back on there? Okay, so they ran out of Thursdays in October to do this Of the Dead series. So the last podcast, the Day of the Dead remake podcast, is coming out on Halloween. So I figured that Sunday, since it's another free day, why not just cram Day of the Dead in there? Monster Monday, gonna put in a movie that I loved when I saw it in theaters. I'm so bummed I didn't get a chance to see it a second time in theaters. Gotta rewatch Cabin in the Woods. I think it just came out on DVD, so it shouldn't be too hard to get my hands on it. Supernatural Tuesday, and one day away from Halloween, I'm going to be playing my yearly favorite of Trick or Treat. It's been out for a few years now on DVD. I think beforehand they kind of did the independent movie festival run or whatever. But ever since I first found out about it, and ever since I first saw it right when it came out on DVD, it's been a yearly favorite for me. I've watched it many, many times, and I love it even more each time I watch it. So it had to be on my list. And speaking of had to be on my list, Halloween. Yes, it is a Wednesday, so it's technically Universal Wednesday, but all that gets thrown out the window because, what else do you watch on Halloween? It has to be this. It has to be. And that day, Whitney and I are probably holding a Halloween party, so whether I subject our guests to it or I just watch it earlier in the day remains to be seen. But I'll figure it out. It's got to be in there somewhere. So that is the list of horror movies for me for October. There's a few movies that I couldn't quite cram in there. It's a pretty packed little schedule. I mean, I always end up watching Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and I couldn't find a spot for it this year, so I might have to find another day just to double up and throw that one in there or something. There will be plenty of horror movie watching going out throughout the month. I can guarantee you that. But I'm still trying to decide. Every year I've announced this, that I've been doing this, and I kind of just throw it out there and let it fall. Last year I did try to do a little bit of live tweeting about the movies as I was watching them, and that kind of turned out okay, but not great. I'm trying to decide still what I want to do to more involve other people with these movie watchings. So I'm thinking about maybe doing some kind of video of my thoughts and reactions to the movies, specifically since there are so many ones I've never seen before on this list. But I'm still trying to decide how to do it, whether I do it every few days or every week or what. So if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, let me know. And also, as I say every year, if anybody else is doing something like this or wants to do something like this, post in the comments or do a video response. I'd love to see somebody else take up the one-a-day horror movie challenge. I think it's a pretty fun thing to do with October. Either way, I'll be back. I'll either be on Team Cerberus posting, of course, whatever customs I can cram into the time I have available, as well as the Creature from the Black Lagoon hunt, if I get any videos of that shot, and whatever I could do at Halloween Horror Nights. And of course on Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more video reviews of action figures. Try to throw out some cool horror stuff coming into October. And I will see you guys soon.